I think that's what a whole lot of people are doing right now, scratching their head. Happy Monday, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the show. Happy Monday and Happy New Year, right? Happy New Year. Does it feel like it? Well, it is 2022, right? It's probably not the new year or the way we were looking to start things off in the new year, but are you really surprised? You know what I'm talking about, right? You know, the premiere this morning. And I apologize that I wasn't around to be able to broadcast that, but Premier announcing this morning that they're going back into the step 2 thingy or whatever. I don't know what it's called. It just means that a whole lot's going to be affected again. Now they're saying temporarily, and there's a date of till January 27th, but who knows by then, right? So we're going to have to apologize. Says, nope, not surprised. Well, I don't think we really should be surprised with this new variant. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't get into the politics of it all. At least I try not to. But I just go, we just got to, like, life is life, right? We just got to keep going forward. And while it might feel like we're at a stop right now, we're not. We're still here. We're still able to do stuff. We've got on. Could you imagine all this happening in 1972 or even in the 80s and early 90s, right? To not be able to do this. So I get it. Just keep going, right? All right. Happy Monday, everybody. Nice to have you here, and Happy New Year again, as I said. And Catherine Jacqueline. Hello, Catherine. Watching on LinkedIn. That's my sister. Hello, sister. How's things in your world? Yeah, so happy Monday, and we're still here. We're still going forward, and that's all we can do, right? To just sit down and you know, did you go like this morning? If you watched it, were you like, right? Try being the premier. Who wants that job? I don't. I like this job right here. And yeah, like I said, we're still here. I got a new tie, right? See the new tie, right? It's a bow tie. It's the only bow tie I own. I have to say, I think I look ravishing in the bow tie. My daughter gave that to me, so thanks to my daughter. And I said, hey, I'll wear that on the show on Monday. And I've got my red vest that I probably should have worn at Christmas, but I forgot I had it. And then the red tie showed up, and I went, hey. And I got a new scarf. My wife got me a new scarf. And thanks to my sister, Catherine, I now know how to properly tie a scarf. Tie a scarf. Did you know you were supposed to tie a scarf? I know how to properly stand and pose, thanks to my sister. I can properly tie a scarf, thanks to my sister. And who knows what else my sister will do for me. She's like, what are you doing? Happy New Year, Barry. Happy New Year to you and Deborah. What did everybody do for New Year's Eve? I mean, things were canceled, limited, right? Jennifer's birthday was December 28th, so I took her out for dinner. We went to the Insignia here in Sarnia. First time, no, not my first time. It was my second time being there, and it was fabulous. The service was amazing. And here's the thing, it was like top-notch service, like very classy, like right down to if they knew you weren't using that fork, they took that fork away. Like, I mean, before you used it, like, oh, you're not having so, okay, you don't need that, take it away. Like, it was just amazing. And the price tag was super reasonable for high class, as far as I'm concerned. So thanks, Insignia. And they gave her free dessert. Free dessert. It was like this chocolatey, raspberry-ish type of fancy cut poured ice cream. I don't know how you I don't know how else to describe it. Sinfully delicious. That's the term. And Paula, you did nothing, eh? Well, it's okay to do nothing. Debbie and I stayed at home, did a Zoom call with the family. Yeah, that's cool. Jennifer and I were home New Year's Eve. We were just hanging out, and I'll tell you, by 8 o'clock at night, I was snoring on the couch. We were both napping on the couches, and then I woke up at like 10:30, and was like sort of wide awake. Wait, what do we do now? I was awake, right? And then Jennifer slowly opened her eyes, and we sat down and watched season 4 of Cobra Kai. Yeah, Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai kicks ass. That's what I'm going to say. I just said it. Cobra Kai kicks ass. The show, not Cobra Kai. It's an amazing show. I can't believe how well they've put it all together and brought it back to life. So we sat and watched 2 episodes, and then we stopped. And then I don't know if I should say this, but I watched like yesterday. Jennifer wasn't around. I watched a couple more episodes without her. Is it wrong to watch episodes of a show that you started watching with your spouse and then you'd like jump ahead of them because you're like, hey, she is busy and I can't wait and I'm here now, so I'm going to watch some more? Is that wrong? I'm going to find out because Jennifer didn't know that I did that. But she doesn't even watch the show, so she won't know unless you guys rat me out. There we go. Jesse Waterfield. Hello, Jesse. My human gas buddy. Gas prices going up to 137.6. That's over at the Petro Canada on London and Finch. How you doing, Jess? Are you working? You must be working. Gas prices always seem to go up on Monday for you guys, right? Paula Joe, yes. Yes to what? Sorry, I forgot what I asked. Right? So anyway, still got to do the social distancing, right? Wear the mask, all the stuff they're asking us to do. I think the biggest part of all of this is the scare of it just hit everybody so fast. And then the hospitals be overwhelmed, right? My cough, which that's why I muted there for a second. Hang on. All right, I'm okay. Trust me. That's a smoker's cough. I haven't smoked in 6 years. It'll be 7 years July of this year. Not one puff since the day I officially quit. Gone, not one puff. Might have smelt it. Boy, can I ever smell it now that I'm an ex-smoker. But I still have that smoker's cough tingle every once in a while, right? Still coming out of me. Jesse's working. All right. Can't be that busy then. Paula says, I love Yellowstone. If my husband watched it without me, I'd be mad. We started watching Yellowstone and then got through it. And then this season came along and I watched like the first couple of episodes with Jennifer. And then I do my very best to not get hooked on like certain shows because I work at home all the time. Most of the time I'm here, right? So if I sit down and start watching something, there's nobody here to tell me what to do. Jennifer's gone to work and then I lose a day because I go, I got to watch it. So she went ahead and started watching Yellowstone without me. And she hid it from me. The first season we did that, she hid that from me because she felt bad. Now she's like, too bad. I am not waiting for you. I have to watch Yellowstone. Right? So I don't care. Go ahead. I can watch it when you're not around. But don't sit at the table and go, oh, today was a really good episode. There's this one part that blah, blah, blah. And like, you're not telling me, but you're still, just don't even talk about it. Why are you talking about that show, right? If I'm not there to enjoy it with you, don't talk about it. Say, oh boy, it's really getting good. Yeah. What's this? Watch 1883. It's on Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus. I don't think I have that. Is that a streaming service? Like I know of Netflix, of course, and then like Amazon Prime. Paul is laughing, exactly right. Yeah. There you go. But like, yeah, I don't like, go ahead, watch without me. Ooh, you sure showed me. But just don't talk about it. 1883. What is 1883 about? I've never heard of that one. I have to check it out. I want to give a reminder to our friends at Preferred Towing, Gary and Tammy, of course, who have Ohana Landing, which is the youth transitional housing facility here in Sarnia. And these bobbleheads of Gary and Colin. Hello, son. Hello, father. Okay, right. These are really cool. I was fortunate enough to get number 3 out of the bunch. You can still purchase those by going to preferredtowing.com, and all proceeds from their items, merchandise, goes to support Ohana Landing. They've got their calendars out now. And I got one of these. I bought one of these. These are, I think they're $65. Look at that. They got their own Lego truck. Isn't that cool? And of course, signed by Colin and Gary, right? I haven't put mine together yet. I opened it up and looked and I went, wow, that looks, just kidding. It's Lego. It's not Lego, but it's Lego. Do you know what I mean? Right. Happy Monday to Carl. Hello, Carl, all the way from Oshawa. And yeah, so you can go to preferredtowing.com and give your support to youth in our community who are being given a hand up in life and learning some skills thanks to the Youth Transitional Housing Facility. And thanks to Gary and Tammy and their family for all they do back in our community as well. All right. Now, New Year's Eve, well, there's usually some of this going on, you know, little drinky, right? And my first guest coming up here has created this amazing, whiskey. And if you think you don't like whiskey, I would say that my friend Bill Frank's coming up here would be thrilled to find a way to sit down for 5 minutes, and he could probably change your mind about whiskey. We're going to bring him on here right now. Hello, Bill. Are we there? Hi, Bill.
Oh, hello.
Oh, there you are. Okay, you're a little frozen.
Okay, we're a little bit frozen. Well, hey, we're all a little bit frozen today.
We're all a little bit frozen today. Bill Franks, you heard me with a bit of an intro there. Were you drinking whiskey on New Year's Eve?
You know, I'm having some audio trouble with you, David. I'll plug you in. It was okay when I was recharging.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, there, my sister.
Yeah, that's better.
Never met a whiskey I didn't like.
So, sorry, what was the question?
I was just saying, were you drinking the whiskey on New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve.
All right, we're gonna try, Bill. I'm gonna kick you out and
it seems
have you
like
try to.
If you're,
let's see if he gets the hint. Hopefully, he's gonna try to rejoin. There's the way the techie day. I guarantee you that Bill had some whiskey on New Year's Eve, and my said never met a whiskey I didn't like. There you go. But you know, like whiskey, like a lot of time, you know, we'll drink it with Ryan Ginger. Give me a Ryan Ginger. But I think there's a lot of whiskey you're just sipping on the whiskey, right? Let's see if I can help Bill out here. And we're live. What just happened? Now I'm having techie issues. What the heck's going on, man? See if he's coming back. We don't see him yet. Okay, here we go. We're going to try this again. He's sort of there.
Here I am.
All right, we're trying again. So New Year's Eve, were you drinking whiskey?
It's my beverage of choice. I don't expect anybody to want to have it. Things you can do with whiskey too. You can have an old fashioned. There's things that have whiskey in them.
Right. You're all broken up there, Bill.
I'm on. Well, I did say there, yes, I did drink whiskey, and there's many people that put whiskey in a mixed drink like a whiskey sour, and old fashions are also very popular. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, we're hearing you fine now.
Oh, cool.
We're getting there.
Oh,
I think
good.
you just got
Well,
some slow
I was
internet
going to
maybe.
tease you that I was on some live TV from Belfast, and and we seemed to make it work okay. So let's make it work here in Sarnia.
Yeah, well, we'll just keep pushing through.
One of the things I want to it's one of the things I want to promote before I get much further in here. There's a new book out by my friend Devin de Kergamo. Let's see, which way do I put it? This way? Yeah. And it's Definitive Guide to Canadian Distilleries. And they've gone and they've toured all the ones you're allowed to tour, and distilleries across Canada, over 200 distilleries across Canada, which is great because like 10 years ago, there was hardly even a dozen of them. So we've got these, even in this area, you think we've got Head down in Amherstburg. And of course, there's always been the huge distillery down in Windsor, like, Wiser's is made. And they don't really have a tour per se, but they've got a tasting room you can go to. So there's lots of opportunity, even in Ontario, to go and check out some distilleries. 40 in Grimsby, lots of them.
I've been to the Hiram Walker in Windsor Way, and that was a fantastic tour. That was that was like 2017. I went down to that, but it was a fantastic tour.
I think the thing is, the industry is realizing that there is such a thing as a whiskey tourist, and just like people like to go like people like to go to vineyards and check out the wine. Same deal with whiskey, and they may even have, like they have down in Amherstburg, they've got a restaurant attached, and you can do things, creative things, rather than just have a whiskey factory.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the Canadian College of Whiskey Knowledge.
Yes. Well, that was just something I made up when somebody was challenging me in Scotland. What was my deal? Why was I there all by myself when everybody else was part of a group or couples or families or
right?
So I just told them, I just told them I was there, working on my degree from the Canadian College of Whiskey Knowledge, and it just kind of stuck, People, people had fun with that. Yeah, well, now, it has a nice. You know where that came from? Up in London, and on the radio before to advertise the Western Fair Raceway, they would say, "Come to the racetrack 10 minutes before post time to the College of Racing Knowledge," and basically they just teach you how to fill out a bet slip to bet on a horse. But I thought that college and I thought the college and knowledge had a nice ring to it, so it just stuck with me. So,
makes sense to me, but it does have a nice ring to it.
Yeah, and I've written an ebook. It's part of the thing I did in the COVID time. And this was about when I went to Scotland and I toured 21 different distilleries and tried to have as much different kinds of whiskey that you can't get here in Ontario. And, there's an awful lot of whiskey just not available in Ontario, which is a reason to go and tour the world,
Yeah. But, talk a bit more about the book and what made you decide that you needed to write something about this?
I took fairly good notes when I was there, and I don't know. I guess I was we were sort of on a clean out of the apartment kind of deal to downsize, not have so much stuff. And I said, well, I can't throw this stuff out without at least trying to write a book about it. So I did, and it's nothing. Tried to keep it entertaining, and it's about going to Scotland as a single tourist, like they call you independent. That's it. independent tourists. So I just went there by myself and went all over the place. And based on weather was where I went. And I was
Okay.
there in September. So it was getting a little on the cool side, but things were still open. So I went go from place to place by bus mostly. And I toured through 21 different distilleries. And I also went to the battle site of Culloden, which is
Oh
really
wow.
an interesting place if you're into history and so saw that place. And I think one of the, I don't know, well, for me as a whiskey person, I think one of the peak times I had was in Aberdeen to a bar, a whiskey bar. And I had my list of the whiskeys I had sampled so far. And I had my little book of all put together of all the ones you can get in Ontario, because there's no point in buying one in Scotland if you can get it in Ontario. And then I the binder, a big binder, all the whiskeys that they offer there. So as I was sitting there, people kind of drifted over and asked me what was going on. And I said, well, I'm really working to increase my knowledge of of Scotch and single malts and what blends, whatever kind. So then people started buying drinks and saying, well, what do you think of this one? And they would help me with the tasting note. And the night I was there, seriously, I could not buy a drink. I had all these people coming up, buying me drinks,
Bummer.
telling me why this. Yeah, it was rough. It was, well, I thought that they closed at 11, but they closed at 12. So hadn't paced myself exactly right. And I don't know what happened, but my writing got a little towards the end of the evening. So anyway, that's in the book. So just things like this that happen to you when you're open to it. I think as something about being a solo traveler, you're open to more things because you figure, oh, well, let's go try this. You don't have to
Yeah.
negotiate with the group or anything.
Well, that's true. Yeah, right. You kind of make your own terms on what you're doing, right, or what you're not doing, for that matter. And where did this all come for you? This passion, desire, and taste for whiskey.
I grew up, there was always whiskey in the house, and there was certainly a difference between what was considered something you could put Coca-Cola in and the sipping whiskey. Like I was taught from an early age, no, you don't put Coke in with the single malts kind of thing. And there
Right.
was a whiskey that was in most, it was a Glenmorangie 10-year-old whiskey, and that was brought out for special occasions like weddings and other special occasions, and that's when we drink that. So I guess I learned from a fairly young age that there's definitely a differentiation. I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of whiskey, and some of them cost more than others, and usually there's a reason for it. So that always had, and I'm just naturally a curious kind of person, so I don't mind exploring this, and it's kind of a fun thing to explore.
Right. Now the title "One Canadian, One Whiskey, One Beer." How did beer get in all of this?
Well, it's the song by John Lee Hooker, of course,
Right.
and George Thorogood did a good copy of it. So I just wanted to roll along. A lot of people drink beer with their whiskey, and I've conducted several whiskey tastings here in Sarnia, and I like to make sure that beer is available because people don't necessarily want to drink whiskey. They want with beer, then and that's fine. So I figured, well, it makes sense. I personally am not much of a beer drinker, but it kind of rolls along. It's not.
Yeah.
I was told it's kind of a cute title, so
The song's been in my head for the last week now. I've always been a big George Thorogood fan, and then of course I saw that and went, oh, that's pretty cool how he pulled that together. Now you've got some tutorials that people can check out and talk about what people can expect to learn in there.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that very well. It's kind of ringing.
You've got some tutorial that you put together on your website.
Oh, Oh, a tutorial, yes. Well, I have if you go to the Canadian Whiskey Knowledge website, and it does describe a whiskey tutorial. And it's the thing like, for example, say you're trying out, you want to do a little taste test on 4 to 6 different whiskeys. And start with something strong flavored. You'd save that towards the end because it would kind of throw your palate off a bit. So yeah, there's something to be said for just having some general guidelines for the tutorial. And if you have the proper glassware, like there's the tulip shaped dull weighing glasses, which are very nice. They capture the aroma better and that kind of thing, but they're also kind of costly. So people can have them. Like some of the more expensive whiskey, one I can think of in Montreal, and I'm sure there's some in Toronto. I just end up in Montreal more because my daughter and her family's down there. But if you're going to be able to, appreciate the whiskey, get the aroma built up and that kind of thing, and yeah, it's just a matter of the tutorial is just a fancy way. It's a whiskey tasting. But since we have a college, we'll have some tutorials. So,
right. You got to have a learning. Do I get a certificate if I pass?
I've been working on that. Adobe changed their deal so that I now have blank certificates, but in my computer, and I'm just figuring out how to get people's names and date and my signature in it. And I'm getting there. I got someone's name in one today, so I'm getting there.
Right.
So what I like to do is to, if there's an event, I like that to be part of it. And I've also, since I bought the software, I had to buy the trusted software. I figure, well, maybe I might, charge $1, I don't know, $2 or something, and then you get your name on a certificate that you can put on the wall, and it shows that you're a student in good standing with the Canadian College of Whiskey Knowledge. So,
I want that certificate. It'll hang right over here.
You want that? Well, I think we better get one for you, David, because you do so much for the community. I'll throw the $2 for you.
I'll pay it. I'll donate to the cause. I got no problem.
Okay. Well, that's another thing I have to figure out. I'm 66, so computers weren't really around when I was younger. So, I've kind of had some issues, and I can get, but it'd be easier for me to drive over and get the $2 and to try and get it set up. So I've got PayPal and all that stuff.
I'll leave it in my mailbox for you. What you've gone through, and you and I met several years ago downtown Sarnia, and that was and I remember getting quite a lesson from you. I guess I would call it a lesson. And your presentation and your demeanor yourself. No, sorry, you froze up.
Oops.
I was just saying, like, your presentation and your demeanor was very pleasant.
Would I do better if I had earbuds in, do you think? Or I'm not hearing much.
Okay. Well, we're just about here to the end anyway, so we'll try to wrap things up. But plans for the future, like, would you, obviously, we heard some new announcements today with the government. And I know you're a bit of a techie, you're learning this techie stuff, but could you see yourself doing like an online tasting thing via Zoom or something?
Well, that would be fun to do. The problem you run in as someone that enjoys whiskey is if you're trying to try like 4 different bottles, well, the stuff costs like about $40 a bottle. So it's more, that's a problem. You can't buy little bottles of it. Well, you can. I guess there's some little ones of at the checkout counter. There's different ones, but anyway, those don't tend to be the ones you're interested in tasting. So you're right. The logistics are an issue. There are people interested, I've kind of I've gotten so that I when it gets to, I kind of say, oh great, sure, about get someone else to do the event planning stuff, and I'll just come in and do the talking. Because
Right.
once you know yourself, once you've planned enough events, I mean, there's a lot to it, you know.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah,
Well, maybe that's
so I'm
something
just
we'll have to. You're freezing up again. Well, we'll have to maybe talk about that in the future when things are open up again. And I'd love to help you with something like that. I just think people, it's unique compared to some other things as well. You know that were happening.
yeah, and we could find a charity to help, you know, help out. And actually, I've been talking to Dave Hurry, you know,
Oh yeah,
between I think he's back from Cuba now. He got down to shutting things down. But Dave Hurry's been to Everest and all over the place. And he says, oh, well,
oh,
we
you
should
mean Mike
organize
Curry? Mike Curry.
Mike Hurry, yeah. We
Yeah.
should you know, for having a trip to visit some Irish distilleries. And I did spend some time in Ireland, and I thought, well, now that has a nice ring to it, you know.
It does. It does. Well, Bill, I thank you so much for your time here today. And I'm sorry we've had some glitchiness here, but we pushed through it. And it was still a pleasure to have you here talking about the One Canadian, One Whiskey, One Beer, which is available on Amazon, right?
You know, it's whatever people like to do. And I think what we've got now is a big resurgence in whiskey drinking, and especially amongst the younger people, and women are liking the whiskey too. So that's great for me to see. And we look at so many distilleries that are growing in Canada. It's a big thing in Canada. And I think we need to admire and respect the people that are in the industry and realize that, gee, there's a lot of really good Canadian whiskey out there as well.
Yes, agreed. Well, Bill, thank you so much. We're going to share more about your book on my Facebook page. And hopefully in the future, when things open up, we can sit down face to face and discuss some plans for an in-person whiskey tasting here in Sarnia. All right. Thanks,
Thank
Bill.
you.
All right. We had some glitchiness there at the end again, but thanks to my friend Bill Franks for stopping in and talking about the Canadian College of Whiskey Knowledge and his trip to Scotland and whiskey tasting. And let's get that all up here. You can go to his website there and find out more about his tutorial. And again, his new book, ebook, One Canadian, One Whiskey, One Beer, now available on Amazon. Thanks again, Bill, and we'll be sure to have you back again. I am looking forward to sitting down with Bill face to face and having some whiskey. But obviously, we're going to have to wait a little bit for that after the announcements today. But that won't stop, Bill. And I'm going to get a gift or not a gift certificate. I'm going to get a certificate. I'm going to graduate from the Canadian College of Whiskey Knowledge. And you can too, again, simply by going to the website. And if you want to find out more and talk to Bill, there's his email address you can send to as well. All right. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for being here. Before I go, though, I always got to mention our supporters. Thanks to our friends at Hughes Intelligence Canada. They are security specialists and officially a part with security specialists for the Sarnia Sting as well. Somebody was asking me, I don't know what's happening there yet. It's pretty obvious, I think, what will be happening there, but nothing official from the Sarnia Sting yet. Also, our friends at AG Event Graphics Group of Companies here on Signs SWO, supporting us here for 10 years. Joe's Discount Tire. The snow is on the ground, yes. So get the proper tires when you're out there, and just give yourself like an extra 15, 20 minutes to get to work, you know, on those bad withery days. We don't need to be there in a rush. And our friends at Tourism Sarnia Lambton coming on board to support us in an official manner as well. So thanks to all of our supporters. And of course, thanks to all of you for always being here. That's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I'll see you next time right here on the show. Bye-bye.